Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Peace, Love, and Chaos. Just checking in to see how you're doing. It's been a little while. We're done with summer mostly. It's fall equinox a couple days ago. A lot of celestial happenings with full moons and new moons and eclipses and all sorts of craziness going on, just adding to the craziness of the world, I suppose. And changes. You see, I have blue hair, decided to go blue and short, just just for fun, just for fun. One of the things that I decided at the beginning of the summer was to have fun and stop taking myself so seriously. I can be a very serious person and not take life and the world so seriously. 'Cause, yeah, if you're paying attention to news or whatnot, then yeah, the world is very serious and stressful for sure. So I am choosing fun and not so serious. Of course, there are serious things in my life. I'm still taking care of business and being responsible, of course. But every time I look in the mirror or look in on camera, if I'm in a meeting or making a video, I remember that I have blue hair and it just brings me some joy. And let's have fun. How can we make things more fun? And yeah, what do I want to do? Let's bring more fun in. So one of the things that I thought I would do is one of the reasons that I struggle making videos is what do I want to talk about? I have no idea. And so I think about it and then I get a topic and there's all sorts of things that I can talk about, but when I'm planning to make a video, it seems serious. Like, oh, I need to really know what I'm talking about and have things mapped out and planned out and notes and um, points to make. And it was feeling so heavy and um, it was just a lot. And, I'm working full time. And so putting videos in and trying to be professional about it, I just wasn't making any. So that's why you haven't seen me for a while. So I decided to do something fun, change it up a little bit. I have little topics that I printed out and cut up and put in a bowl so we can have a topic. So let's see what the topic of the day is. Hmm. Let's see. Doing our work. Doing our work. Hmm. Well, in my book, doing our work is doing our internal work, doing our own personal growth and how can we be better? And so for my own life, gosh, my own personal journey has been long and deep, and it's been a lot, I suppose. Um, yeah, I guess I've been on a growth path really since I can remember. I always liked school, so I was like learning. And I think I started reading self-help books when I was probably starting at 18 or so. Um, I remember when I was in elementary school, I read a lot for pleasure, just voracious reader. And then once I got through high school and college, it wasn't really like fiction novels. It was always, "Ooh, what can I learn and how can I improve myself and how can um, what don't I know that I can add to my life or add to my skills, my tools in my toolkit." So when I guess that phrase, doing our work, I think about it as there are people doing their work and there are people that are not doing their work. Um, or that it doesn't appear that they're doing their work. Doing our work can be learning how to communicate better in our relationships, whether it's personal relationships with family or friends or partners, at work with coworkers, bosses, staff out and about in life and in public. So, how do we communicate there? How do we connect with people? What kind of a human are we being? So, are we being kind, supportive, generous, um, nice humans? Or are we not being so nice, being more judgmental, not caring, not being kind, not doing any favors for our fellow humans? Um, Most of us have had, some sort of challenges, difficulties, traumas in childhood, or just unhealthy patterns that we picked up in childhood, that we learned in childhood. I mean, that's where we learn those patterns, as we're growing up. Patterns of like how we're dealing with people or how we talk to ourselves or our beliefs, our values. Those all really come from our family of origin and childhood. They're really pretty much locked in there. And we usually don't even realize what those are until if you start thinking about it and like, how am I showing up in the world these days? And, where are my trouble spots? So it's that doing the work is um, really becoming more self-aware. So watching and observing how I move through my days and in the world. How do I show up for my kids? How do I show up for friends or family, for work? Um, and where do those patterns show up? So the patterns that maybe are not doing me any favors, like maybe my beliefs around you have to work hard to get ahead or to be successful. Um, Money doesn't grow on trees. Um, don't, don't waste, don't be wasteful. I mean, there are things that were locked in that um didn't serve me anymore. Like, don't use my voice, don't speak up, don't nobody asked you. Who do you think you are to tell me what to do? So making videos like this, there were a lot of there was a lot of work involved in getting to the point where I could make videos. I do love to write. And so sometimes I prefer to write, and maybe on this channel I'll read some of the poetry that I started writing. Um, Probably not today, but coming soon. So looking at, where do we want to be? What do we want to accomplish? What are the outcomes? Or just like, how do we want to feel in life? There's so many different aspects that we can focus on and work on. Like in the coaching space, I saw so many clients, like, I'm coming to you with a specific problem, whether it's a relationship, or how do I manage my staff at work, or how do I balance work-life balance? I have a small business and I have a family and kids and a spouse at home, and I feel like I'm not doing a very good job at either place. So it's the work is what's presenting now, if you're paying attention. Some people aren't paying attention, and that's okay. I have no judgment on that. So, yeah, doing our work. I love to do my work. That's probably my favorite thing. I tease and I joke that I eat personal and spiritual development for breakfast every morning. And the journey has not always been easy, but it is so worth it. Looks like I'm a little glitchy here. Yeah, looking back at who I was, I mean, I could say even a year and a half, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. a lot of growth, a lot of growth. And I love who I am. I think, I think that that's a big upside to doing your work is learning to love who you are and being, I enjoy my own company. I have great conversations up in my head. Um, being really comfortable in my skin and who I am and who I choose to show up to be in the world. I'm not reactive anymore like I was. Um, yeah, I'm very intentional. I make the choices and um, I I navigate my life. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. So doing our work. All right, I guess that was the topic of the day. We'll wrap up. We'll make this one short. I hope you are all doing well. We'll do this again soon. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.